This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Tommy Coyle over Zoom for the first time in 2021. Tommy, Happy New Year. I hope you could enjoy the festive period as best as possible in these dark times. What did you get up to?
Not a lot. No, we was locked down, so just spent some much needed time with the family, the kids, obviously the wife. We saw the parents on Christmas Day, but other than that, we kept it locked down and just done the family things. Really, it was different, but it was still nice, and I enjoyed it.
Tommy, we obviously caught up last year. You've obviously since then retired from the sport, but kind of just talk to me about these past 6 or 7 months since we last spoke. Tommy, what have you been up to?
Just trying to focus on my business and my family. Obviously, the transition from being a professional boxer to being a civilian was tough. I took it quite hard. I didn't want to retire, but it was a case of having to retire. I always said I wanted to get out of the game, faculties intact. But having to retire was a tough thing for me to do. But I feel like I've come through that transition now, and I'm fully focused on my business, the family, and the next chapter.
Tommy, we see a lot with fighters once they retire. There's always that candle still lit for them. There's still that bit of a desire to get back into the ring, and we're seeing a number of ex-pros and ex-legends. We saw the Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight, for example, at the back end of last year. Why do you think it is that fighters still they just can't quite come to peace maybe with retiring, and we do see them return to the ring?
The highs are so high, and you're constantly battling to try and find that high, that thing that provides you with the same buzz, the same endorphins, the same. It's a very egotistical world, and you feel alive, you feel loved, you feel wanted, and it's a tough transition. I think numerous fighters may struggle because they've given their all to boxing and everything to boxing, and they don't really plan for the day when they have to hang up the gloves. I think I was fortunate in the sense that I was mindful that day was going to come. Everybody retires, whether it's politicians, the bricklayer, the school janitor, the teacher. Everybody has to retire, and I wanted to set myself up for when that day come. And I think if I'd not had such a busy schedule when I retired, I may have found it even tougher. But I had lots of responsibilities. I've got 3 beautiful children, beautiful wife that rely on me to provide for them. So I kind of had to dust myself down and get back on the horse and focus on providing, and as well, I've got a big team of people who work within my business. I've also got to provide for them, because if I'm not on it, the business isn't on it, and those guys rely on me for a salary which provides for their family. So there's much more than boxing. It's a bigger picture.
I know you're still obviously dipping your toe in and out of the gym up north with Jamie and the team up there. When you do go back to the gym, do you feel that kind of that desire to put the gloves on yourself again and to see what you've still got left, or are you very much so in a happier place now?
No, I feel that desire every day. I battle it every single day. I fight with myself every single day. I've just started a training camp. Actually, one of my gyms is just taken to online to run one of our successful boot camps, and I've kind of jumped on it. And I've taken it as a bit of a challenge. and I'm training away today. I've got some of the lads from the gym in Manchester, Carl and Jack Cattrall, doing one of the challenges today. And I've just seen their scores and their times, and they've actually beat me, and I'm absolutely fucking raging. So, you know, the competitive edge is still there. I would love nothing more than to fight again. But the way I fight, or the way I fought, should I say, was very taxing on the body. They put a lot of miles on the clock, and my career's finished. I'm very happy with how it went. I'm content. I didn't reach the top of the mountain, but I reached the top of my mountain anyways. And yeah, I'm very content, very happy. I'm dealing with it fine. But yeah, I do miss it a hell of a lot.
Well, Tommy, obviously, it is great to hear how you are dealing with retirement and how you've been able to keep yourself busy. But as always, let's delve into some boxing talk. Let's go into one of your old weight divisions at lightweight, and the most recent fight which took place there, most recent high-profile fight that took place there, one of your ex-opponents and a fellow man from Hull in Luke Campbell coming up short against Ryan Garcia. Tommy, what did you make of it?
First and foremost, I didn't think Ryan Garcia was that good. I remember when I fought Chris Algieri, I called him out after the fight thinking, you know what, final swan song, Ryan Garcia, let's see how good you are. And can I just say, I'm fucking glad he didn't take the fight. Yeah, Ryan Garcia is a very, very good operator. He's certainly a world-class elite fighter, and he's got my respect now. I think Luke, for me, could have done more when he hurt him in the second round. He kind of lacked that killer instinct, but also Luke's a thinking man. He's very well schooled. He has a great amateur pedigree. You don't win gold medals without having a great amateur pedigree. And I'm sure Luke will have been cautious thinking about the check left hook, which Ryan Garcia throws so well. So I think he would have been cautious of that and going in and maybe walking onto one because it was still early in the fight. But for me, when you hurt a man like that, you've got to throw the kitchen sink at him. And I think he maybe just let him off the hook a little bit. But it was a great fight. It was very, very entertaining. I loved it.
One thing I want to touch on with the fight is when he did drop him in the second round, you would score that a 10-8. One judge still scored it a 10-9. Just your thoughts on that, Tommy?
Yeah, listen, it's a 10-8 round. Everybody in the boxing world and fraternity knows that. You knock a man down, you get a 10-8 round. The judging in boxing needs to be looked at. It's not fair. Young lads, young men put their lives and souls and their hearts into this game. And, you know, the scoring at times in certain countries is certainly not fair.
Tommy, just with regards to both Luke and Ryan, what would you like to see next for either of them? Start off with Luke.
It's a tough one for me to answer this because obviously there's boxing politics in the city where I live, Hull, because we fought each other. He's from the west part of the city. I'm from the east part of the city, and I would hate to. I don't even know if he's down because he put on a fantastic account of himself. But I'd hate to be the man that kicked him out when he was down, or feeling sensitive. So I don't really want to. I want to sit on the fence. Actually, I don't want to advise what Luke should or shouldn't do. Only Luke and his family can decide that. But Luke has nothing to prove. He's been in there with the best in the world, and every single time he's stepped up and put on a fantastic performance. Nobody had him down to do what he did to Lomachenko. I don't think until Teofimo Lopez, anybody has done that to Lomachenko. So Luke's in good company. You know, the Linares fight, again, Luke was, you know, maybe could have nicked it. So he has nothing to prove. He won a gold medal for our country. And I tell you something, if he hadn't won the gold medal and brought big time boxing back to Hull, would I have got the exposure I got in Hull? So I've got a lot to thank Luke Campbell for. And I've not forgotten that, and I shall not forget that. But is he going to win a world title? It's an unbelievably tough division. You got Gervonta Davis, you've got Ryan Garcia, you've got Teofimo Lopez. I'd like to see maybe Luke Campbell have one last one against somebody like Eureka's Gamboa. 2 gold medalists going at each other, and I think Luke beats him. And Luke deserves to go out on such a great career on a high and a win. He deserves that for what he's given to the sport.
Then on the flip side, Ryan Garcia, he's going to be mandatory now for Devin Haney, but after the fight, he started calling that tank, Gervonta Davis. What would you like to see next in what is a stacked lightweight division?
Any of those fights, you've got Tank, you've got Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo. Any of those fights, you've got 4 fights there. They can all fight one another, win, lose, or draw. Kind of just go around each other like a round robin. Makes great. I think more people need to fight. We need to cut the boxing politics out and let the best fight the best. Maybe scrap some of these belts, these interim belts, and these diamond belts. And if we're going to go with those sanctioning bodies, have the 4 main sanctioning bodies, but only have 4 versions of them, and let's see who is the undisputed. So yeah, the lightweight division is so interesting at the minute, and I'm glad I'm watching from the sofa.
Tommy, moving forwards once again, let's touch on your old gym and some of your camp mates there getting ready for some bouts. Let's start off with one which I don't think anybody, and certainly I never thought I would see when I started working in boxing, coming up in 5 days time, coming up on a weekend. Stephen Ward entering the ring with the Mountain Bjornsson, a Game of Thrones star. Just when you found out about that, Tommy, what was your initial reaction to it?
God, I thought Stephen Ward here could talk this guy to sleep. No, Stephen Ward's got a nickname in the gym, Boring Ward, but he's not actually boring. Stephen's a great kid, a proper, lovely lad. Stephen Ward, right? This is how I describe him. He's the type of kid, if you had a daughter and she brought somebody home, you'd want him to bring Stephen Ward home. He's just a nice guy. He's a good man. I didn't see that fight coming, but you know what? It's a great profile fight for him. Exhibition. I don't think anyone's going to get seriously hurt. Well, you say that. Depends how serious they take it. Stephen Ward's got a bit of spite in him, let me tell you. I've seen him spar many a times. And I've seen him in Rocky Field and nearly lock horns because Stephen's hit him after the bell. And then Rocky's hit him, Stephen's hit him again. And I think he does it to wind people up, to get them out of their game plan, because we was over in New York at the Gleason gym and he was doing it then. And Jamie actually had a go at him and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Jamie." So I think he does it all the time on purpose.
Aside from profile, obviously it's tough times and a lot of fighters are struggling to get out of a minute with a pandemic, and when shows are returning, we're only seeing maybe 5-6 fights on the cards. What else do you think Stephen will take away from this? Is it just for him to kind of, in some ways, be able to get some form of ring rust off?
I think, listen, this boxing game's a boxing business, and sometimes you've got to stay on the shelf, in the shop window. This will put him in the shop window. A lot of people will be speaking Stephen Ward's name, and the MTK platform and profile, his opponent's profile. I think it's great for his all-round profile and exposure, getting the rounds in without the head guard on, the smaller gloves, taking a trip overseas, experience fighting in a different country. I know he'll have done this with his amateur experience, but as a pro, it's good all around for him.
So moving on to another former campmate of yours, Carl Frampton. He's awaiting news of this Herring fight, his chance to become a freeweight world champion. When you've seen Carl in the gym, Tommy, how confident and assured are you that we will see Carl Frampton become that freeweight world champion?
Well, Carl Frampton's just done the Cooper run. I did 2 kilometers 69 in 12 minutes. So the Cooper run is a 12-minute run. You got to run as far as you can. Now, I've been training again one day and I've done 2:69. He's just done 3.14 kilometers. So he's extremely fit. He did the Cooper bodyweight challenge as well. And he did it in like 8 minutes, 8 seconds, which is phenomenal. I think I took 14 minutes. Although he did cheat on the burpees because he likes to do the burpees on a box, does Carl. I think because he's small. But he likes to do his burpees on a box. And it is easy because your body doesn't go all the way, your chest doesn't go all the way to the floor. So I still think he would have done it in around 11 minutes. But for somebody who's achieved as much as Carl has, his passion and desire to become a three-weight world champion is something else. And all the stuff that he's had going on in his personal life, and the legals and everything, I say he's institutionalized. I said, you'd be great in prison, because you just lock yourself up. I said, and you just get through it. But he blanks out and he just zones in, and he's so committed, so disciplined. And I genuinely, he could stop Herring, Herring's a big lump for the weight, and I know he struggles to make the weight. I met him in Vegas when Carl fought over there against McCleary. And I don't know how he's making that weight. And if he says he makes it easy, he's a liar. Carl could stop him late. He's relentless, is Carl. I've sparred him, and I'm a much bigger guy than him. And his work rate and tenacity, he's just relentless. And he can punch as well.
Another man who he retired last year on the back of what was his 5th world title challenge is Billy Joe Saunders. He's lost to Billy Joe Saunders. Was Martin Murray, again, campmate of yours. Going back to that, Tommy, what did you make of Martin's performance against Billy Joe and his subsequent decision to leave the sport?
Martin Murray is one hard man. He has given British boxing fans, I remember the days when he was with Hatton and on Sky Sports Friday Fight Night, and he's shaved dead. Like I followed his career from day one. Martin Murray's given us umpteen years of entertainment, the Sturm, the Golovkin. There's been so many fights where you can say, wow, that was a great fight. I loved watching that. And in this game, that's all people want. He's entertaining. And he's done that time and time again. He's a phenomenal family man. I'm sure he'll miss boxing, but I'm sure he'll also be very, very content in Murray's Tavern with his kids, with Gemma, with our Gem, having an ickle glass of wine or an ickle Guinness, as he calls it. Just living the good life. He deserves it.
Mine did have a great career when he just get the chances to reflect on it. I'm sure he'll think so himself. But there's always been that talk of there was fights during his career where on another day he'd have been given the decision. Many people going back to some of those world title fights. When you've spoken to him about them, how does Martin feel about them now?
Martin's he's quite a laid back guy, and he's all Martin cares about, let me assure you, is his kids and Gemma. And like I've always said this, like if you could be with like one man, you'd want to be like Martin Murray. Hard as nails, no one's gonna ever take liberties, and just like kids love you to death. He's a good person, Martin. He's often helped me in the gym. Like when Jamie's been with some of the other lads and they've kind of had to split roles, Martin's took me sparring before, and I get on well with Martin, although I did nearly get filled in off him once. Did you hear about that? Or did you
If
see
you
it?
might want to share that story, Tommy.
Yeah. Oh, geez. I shit myself. Like, I was scared. I thought, like, I'm not really scared of anybody, but I thought, I'm going to have to take a clip here. Like, I deserve it. I'm going to have to take one. And he's probably going to knock me out, but I'm going to have to take it. And I was ready for it. But we was watching Carl fight in Belfast, and Nigel Travis had got drunk the night after the fight. And I said, come on, I said, let's go wake Nigel. I said, I'll get a bucket of water. I said, who's got his room key? Who's sharing with Nigel? So I got his room key off Jamie, and we just let ourselves in. And we was gonna like swill in with the water, but the room key didn't work. So I knocked on the door, and obviously the door opened, and I didn't even look or wait to see who it was. And I just threw this bucket, this ball of water, but it hit him square in the face. And I went, shit, that wasn't Nigel's room. And it was Martin Murray's. And Martin Murray had just got dressed to go out, looking, dressed to the nines, and he was raging. And all I can remember is running off down the hotel corridor and him shouting, Tommy, you fucked it, lad. I'm telling you. And I thought, oh, he's not happy at all. And like, I was just shitting myself. And I thought someone's going to have to try and like calm him down, talk him down. And luckily, he ended up seeing the funny side to it, but he was raging. Check it out. He's on Jamie's Instagram or Twitter, I think. We videoed it all. That's probably what made it worse, but yeah, forgive me. And another time, I convinced him. We was in Spain training in the super in Tenerife, and he didn't have a T-shirt to go in the supermarket. So I said, "Well, mine." I said, "Get in mine." So he got in my T-shirt with me, which is his own fault. But then the lads come behind me and pulled my kegs down. So you can imagine my knob's on the back of his ass because he's in front of me. So like I'm behind him in the same T-shirt and my knob's riding up the back of his ass. Well, he's not happy at all. And it's like a bucking bronco. He's throwing me around because I'm still in his T-shirt and he's still in it. And then we fell over and then he managed to get out of the T-shirt, but he was raging.
Tell me, I'm due to catch up with Martin at some point, so I'm sure
Ask him the story. And
good.
he's scared of cockroaches, by the way. He doesn't like insects and cockroaches. And I remember I was going to put this insect on him. And he said, Tommy, you put that on me, I'll chin you. Oh, brilliant. So that's what I miss most about boxing, Like for me, boxing was my playground. It was the place where I had fun. I saw all my mates, like I just had a laugh, and I was actually a better boxer when I was messing around having a laugh. And that's what I miss. I miss that camaraderie with the boys. I always worked hard. I always trained extremely hard. I was very, very competitive, but I'd be the first in the changing room to tie people's shoelaces together or put like deep heat in the top of the toothbrush. So when people went to brush their teeth, they was putting deep heat on the toothbrush and brushing the gums. Like loads of things like that. Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine obviously that being such a huge part and influence in your life, being able to share those times and the pranking side of things with the team. Is that kind of the one thing which though, you'll always be able to have, because when our fight's coming up for the team, you can go and I'm sure that you'll always be invited into the gym to help them train or to see, give your opinion on things and to go away with them. When Carl fights Jamal, say if it was to happen in the States, I'm sure you'd be offered your chance to go as well. Is that kind of the one comfort you can take? You'll always have that team and family feeling effectively around the gym.
I think so. I think they'll always invite me to go along because I know when to switch on as well. There's a time and a place, and fight week. There's a giggle and there's a laugh, but there's a limit. People are making weight, and there's a time and a place. But during the camp, it makes training easier. Getting through the camp when it's tough, it makes it easier. So I know my place. I know when to do it. But I tell you now, in camp there is no limits. Like, geez, the first day Carl at Frampton ever come in the gym, I hit him with a fire extinguisher. He was doing something for ITV. The cameraman was furious because we'd done all his camera work, like 90 grand's worth of cameras, and he's got the dust, the fire extinguisher all over it. And Carl's like, what the fuck? It was just like the first day he ever come to our gym. And he's like, wow, who is this kid? Rocky Fielden and Martin Murray let all my tyres down once, and they let me drive home. Like, they could have killed me. I've got kids and a missus to come home to, but I didn't know. So I got on the motorway and I'm thinking, something not right here. So I got on back and I egged and flowered Rocky Fielden's car, and he got £1,500 excess damage charges because all the inside of his car was stained with egg and flour.
Tommy, what have you done to Jamie or Nige?
We've done loads tonight, proper loads. Like, we taped him up to a chair once because when Jamie got shot, Jamie used to have a chair at the side of the ring because he couldn't put much weight on his foot. And Nige used to sit in his chair and Jamie used to get pissed off. So, like, we'd be saying, why are you sat in the gaffer's chair? Anyways, one day he sat in it and we taped him to the chair. We all held him down and taped him to the chair. But I had to take it one step too far and I started taping his face, but he couldn't breathe. But the tape, he had really long hair at the time, and his tape got all in his hair, and we had to pull his hair out with the tape. So he had all bits of hair missing, and that's when he had to shave his head. So, yeah, we've done loads of stuff.
Tommy, just before I let you go, I just want to get your thoughts on a couple of other things. Amir Khan earlier this week said that he'd be very interested in facing Brook this year. If this is the year where we see that fight, Tommy, what do you make of it and what do you think would happen?
I'm not sure. I don't know how good Kel's eyes are anymore. I've suffered similar injuries to Kel, and I know the effect it has, and I chose to retire. I chose to retire because of the exact same injuries sustained and the effect they can have. Again, does Kel have anything to prove to any of us or anyone? No. But is there always going to be that fight there, the one that got away between him and Amir Khan? I can't split them. I think they're both at that time in their lives and careers where they both need each other. And I think it's a great fight. I don't think it goes the distance. But yeah, I can't pick a winner. And they're both, I wouldn't say, I've spent time with Kel over the years. He come to open one of my gyms for me. The kids loved it. But I've spent time with Amir as well. They're both good lads. But may the best man win.
Another fight which everybody is hopeful of seeing this year, Tommy, is up at heavyweight, the one between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. If that does go ahead at some point this year, Tommy, your thoughts?
Do you know what? Nobody moves like Fury does for a heavyweight. His boxing IQ, his ring craft, he's fantastic. But you've got a devastating finisher and a devastating power puncher like Anthony Joshua. I don't know. Anthony Joshua is cool, calm, collected. Is AJ going to get under his skin? Is Fury going to get under his skin? I don't know. I can't pick him. Some days I think Fury boxes and stays out of the way on the outside. And then I just think AJ thinks fuck it and just walks through him and takes him out early. Like, I have different thoughts every day. I'd probably like to see Anthony Joshua win. I probably would. I really like Tyson Fury. I do. I like what he brings to the game, but Anthony Joshua put this. He kind of put boxing back on the map for me, if you like. He really did. He made it exciting again. But Fury's story, how can you beat a man like that? Like coming back after what he's come back, he's already won, really. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting fight. And wherever it is, if I can get tickets, I would love to be there.
Tommy, I'm sure we're all feeling that same way about that one. But we will leave that there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate you giving me some fantastic stories there. We'll be sure to share them over social media. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, mate. Look after yourself, and thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
All the best. Keep up the great work as well. I'm following you.